Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome on behalf of Edureka. I'm Dr. Ankit Jain. Today's topic is on creating chatbots using TensorFlow. So let us start the session by understanding what is TensorFlow. Okay. Now, basically, TensorFlow, right? There are two words here, tensor and flow. Okay. It's first of all a Python library which is used to implement deep networks. Okay, so first of all, the most basic thing you need to understand is TensorFlow is a Python library. Okay, it's a library in Python which is open source. It is free. Okay, and who has created this library for us? It has been created by Google. Okay, so TensorFlow is open source, created by Google. We just need to install TensorFlow on our Python environment and we can use it. Okay, so TensorFlow, the word comes from two words, tensor and flow. Okay, so the approach of making TensorFlow was that it is a graphical data flow graphical approach, computational graph. Okay, in which all the mathematics is conducted by something known as tensors. Okay, so tensors is where are utilized and a flow is made of this tensor. So different mathematical operations are applied like matmul, add, ReLU activation functions, etc. on these tensors, and you can use it using TensorFlow library. Okay, now today what we are going to learn is we are going to create a chatbot using TensorFlow. Okay, that is the agenda for today's class. Now, in order to understand why a chatbot, let us understand why do we need a chatbot. I'm sure most of you have used it. The chatbot, uh, basically the chatbot has been created so that it can simulate a human being, right? So like for a flight booking app, right, flight bot, you want to book certain tickets, right? Now instead of a human taking that job, it is a machine will understand what you are trying to book and it will book the tickets accordingly for you, right? So there will be a lot of save of, I mean, basically the chatbot will mimic the human being and therefore you will save a lot of man hour, which will lead to more efficient working and more you will save on the manpower also. So this is the benefit of a chatbot. So chatbot is an automated system designed to initiate a conversation with human users or other chatbots. Okay, so it is basically mimicking a human being. How does it work? That is the main point of today's agenda, right? So basically, there are three things or three layers which is required to make a chatbot. One is the knowledge base. So you need to train the chatbot with a lot of knowledge base. Okay, so you need to create a corpus of knowledge base. Then you need to store your data. So there is a data store, and upon that there is a natural language processing layer, NLP layer. Okay, what is natural language processing? We will understand that, but just to give you an intuitive understanding, we will have, as the machine needs to understand the language, right? That is known as natural language processing. So basically how a machine can understand language, that is what is the natural language processing layer. So NLP layer, mapping the given input in natural language into useful representations, analyzing the different aspects of language. Basically, in short, NLP layer is nothing but use of computer science, right? Artificial intelligence and the human language. How can we overlap all these and create one technology? That is basically NLP. So NLP is designed to understand human language. Okay. And if I can go one more layer, it is to understand human language in more mathematical way. Okay. Knowledge base. Real-time personalized customer experience, universal content, accessibility and personalization, and ability to reach and retain customers. So basically, you need to have that knowledge base created so that all the customers can get personalized experience. So the data will contain what the customer has surfed on your website, what books, what flight, for suppose it is a travel app, what flight it is trying to book, so and so forth, right? So it will help you retain and reach your customers. Chatbot will power 85% of all customer service interactions by 2026. In fact, if you know, many companies have stopped having humans to solve a lot of customer service issues. The reason is, instead of having customer service, it makes more sense to them to refund some amount. I hope what you are getting. So suppose they refund 10 rupees to a customer, and in an hour, suppose they refund around say 100 rupees, right? The cost of having the human, okay, to solve those issues will easily be more than 100 rupees. Are you all getting what I'm trying to say? So in an hour, if you give cashbacks to the customer rather than having customer service there, it makes more sense for the company. That's why many companies are now going for automated customer service or automated customer grievance addressal. Okay. The third part is the data store. What is the data required to train the bot? User's chat comes to bot once it is deployed, right? So we need to have a robust data pipeline so that whatever query the user is putting, whatever information you require, it should all be stored in a proper pipelined data store. Okay. So the three aspects will lead to a app bot, that is natural language processing layer, knowledge base, CMS, and data store. These are the three pivots to make your chatbot. Okay. Key points to be considered while creating a chatbot: volume of conversation. So this will help you understand what pipeline you need to create, right? What is the amount of pipeline, what is the data scalability you required, etc. Consistency of the agents, training the agents, length of conversation, how many conversation you will allow the chatbot before a human takes over, and complexity of incoming and outgoing questions, right? All these are the essential points to be considered while creating a chatbot. The applications of chatbot. So one is the order food. I'm sure most of you have used this either for your grievance addressal or making some orders. So a chatbot can help you do that. As you can see, it is giving you options what you want to order. So instead of you taking the pain of going to the website, looking for what you want to do, the chatbot is doing that work for you. Okay. Similarly, in real estate, a lot of applications of chatbot is going on. Where do you want to book? Do you want to see this property? So and so forth. So a lot of activities are going on chatbot that way. Flight tickets. Where and when, how do you want to go? The chatbot can assist you in taking the best holiday package, or maybe the flight, or maybe what time you want to suggest, etc. So it will do that work for you. You just need to keep on pressing your queries there. Applications of chatbot: product selection. In fashion websites you can see a lot of chatbot applications. So if you see currently the market trend, a lot of orders are actually being placed using chatbots. Healthcare. What are the layers of a chatbot, right? Natural language processing layer. So I'm now coming to the main NLP layer. If you remember, I just explained you the NLP layer. Okay. Now I am going into the depth of it. What are the NLP layers? Inside NLP layers, what are the layers? So in order to create a NLP layer, it consists of natural language processing, the first layer. The second layer is applying neural networks. Third is deep learning. And fourth is TensorFlow. Okay. So these are the four pillars through which the NLP layer is created. What is the natural language processing? So basically, suppose I say get out, right? Get out. Now the machine needs to understand the sentiment, needs to understand the parts of speech of this word, of this sentence, right? What is the context in which this sentence has been spoken, right? Suppose I write in a food app, if I write I eat Chinese, all of you, what does this mean? I eat Chinese, right? If the chatbot is created which takes this as it is, right, it may have a absurd meaning, right? Chinese here may refer to the people of China, right? That is not what the user wants to say. The user wants to say that they want to go for Chinese cuisine, right? How many of you are getting the complexity? That this is the complexity with human language, right? It may have a context, it may have a part of speech, it may have a sentiment. So you need to have that AI, that artificial intelligence, which can understand all these aspects. Okay. What is natural language processing? A part of AI which deals with understanding of human language, natural language by a program. Okay. How are natural language processing created? So the next part of it is neural networks. How many of you know neural networks? So basically in neural network, you have an input layer, okay? You have a hidden layer and you have an output layer, okay? A neural network needs to be trained that given an input, right? Your input is there, you have a neural network in which the input is passed, and from that you get an output. Okay, now these are all mathematics, right? There is a lot of mathematics happening between this. What happens is you have an activation function, you have a weight, you have a bias added to it. A lot of mathematics goes inside whenever a neural network is being trained. Okay, so this needs to be understood by the machine. So in order to make the machine learn, we need to have a neural network. Okay, so neural network is the algorithm. Neural network is the algorithm on which machine is trained. Now, what are neural networks? As I said, are computing system inspired by biological neural networks. So when the algorithm of neural network was made, the scientists wanted to basically mimic the human brain. So human brain, how can you mimic it, right? So if you understand, human brain consists of all neurons, right? So these neurons are interconnected to each other, connected to each other. So similarly here, artificially we are trying to mimic the human brain by creating such networks. Okay, now what is deep learning? Deep learning uses deep networks, which are nothing but neural network with multiple hidden layers. Now you may find a lot of content trying to explain you what is deep learning, right? In order to explain you in most simplistic form, basically neural networks, okay, neural networks, what they have, I explained to you, they have an input layer, they have an output layer, and in between there are hidden layers which we need to train. Okay, now when the hidden layers are multiple, when you have more than one hidden layer, you call it a deep learning. Okay, you're trying to learn deep. Now why has it become so popular now? It has become popular now because previously we didn't have so much hardware or processing power to use multiple hidden layers. But with today's state of the art technology, processing power, chips available, we can do millions of calculations, in no time, right? So that is why now we have started training models with multiple hidden layers, which results into better accuracy. That is why this technology has come up now. Okay, so deep learning in short is nothing but a neural network with multiple hidden layers. Okay. How does it work? So basically what you are doing, I'll use this to explain you how deep learning works. So basically what you do is, suppose this is an image, right? Now all of us are using mobile, and you may have seen whenever we take a selfie or we click a pic or something, you can see that our faces are detected by the lenses itself. How many of you have observed that the face gets detected, right, by the lens? Now what does this mean? It means that on your mobile there are some deep learning models which detects the face on your mobile, on your pic. Okay, this is how Facebook also tags different people, right? They detect the face and then they find out who is the person in that face, right? Now here, if you look at this image, what we do is basically we annotate. There is a technical word here, annotate. We annotate this image, and tell that this is a person, this is a person. If you see here, this is a car and this is a dog, right? So like this, we have suppose 1 lakh images or 100,000 images, okay, annotated images. This image we pass into a machine learning model or a deep learning model, okay, deep learning model, and it learns basically from this annotations. Okay, this is how a person looks, this is how a dog looks, this is how a car looks. Basically when you annotate image and give it to a algorithm like neural network, it understands based on that annotation, okay, this is how a person look. Because at the end, see, even human eye looks it that way. So suppose I tell you the face is round, it has fur on it, on the body, it has a tail, it has 4 legs, right? You will also understand it may be an animal, dog or a cat, suppose, right? Similarly, the machine, what it does, it takes this part and passes it into a deep learning model. At the end, every image is nothing but pixels. So it will study the pattern that, okay, if a cat is given, it has this kind of pixel pattern. Okay, so the next time when you show a image, it will find out, okay, this part of the image looks like a cat. So the whole art of data science or deep learning is to how to train such networks. Okay, so for first of all, for making this network, what we require TensorFlow. So in order to make this deep learning model networks, we will use the package of TensorFlow. So TensorFlow, I've already explained, it's a package, mathematical package developed by Google scientists, and we can install it in Python environment. So what is the workflow of a chatbot? It determines the role of bot and set goals. We need to create a conversational architecture. I will explain that with an example. Collection of question variation. So basically you need to predetermine what kind of questions your customers can ask. Okay. Pick a platform and development approach. Implementation of dialog flow. So for that you require an NLP model, and then you will test and revise your chatbots. Okay, so these are the different stages wherein you create your chatbot. So I'll do a quick hands-on session. Okay, now this hands-on session will help you understand how a chatbot is created. Okay, so I will start my hands-on session now. So I'm just opening my notebook. Now, in this hands-on session, what I have done is I basically created a chatbot which can help me in recruitment process. So suppose that the organization name is Pirate and I want to recruit for the Pirate organization. The goal here is, let me write down here. The goal is to create a chatbot to help in the recruitment process. Okay. The organization name is Pirates Organization. Okay, so we are going to recruit for Pirates. This is the role of what we are going to do now. Okay, now the first thing we need to do here is we need to import all the packages. So the packages which is required first is TensorFlow. We are going to create our chatbot on TensorFlow. And there are other data processing packages required like JSON, Pandas, NumPy. These are used for data processing, cleaning of data, etc. Data preparation, we will require that. We also require different architectures from TensorFlow. Okay, so these are some syntax like tokenizer is one package inside TensorFlow which can help us tokenize our words, our sentences. I will come to that later. We have similarly embedding layers, LSTM layers, global max pooling. All these are different concepts of deep learning which we require to understand. Okay, but here we are going to look at the implementation of these ideas using TensorFlow. At the end, we have to look at few graphs. So for graph or data visualization, we use a package known as matplotlib. Okay, so these are the libraries which we need to import. So I'm importing these libraries. You can check that I'm running this. Okay, now the next part of this is I explained to you, right, in one of the slides, we need to have collection of question variation. We need to create a conversational architecture and determine the role of bot and set goals. Now we need to have a conversational architecture and collection of question variation. So basically, here we are collecting data, right? What kind of input will the person put? So initially, when you come to any chatbot, you may have a greeting, right? Hello, hi there, nice to meet you. Is this the pirates organization? Any pirates here? Hi, hey there. So the user may come and ask this question. Hello, hi there, nice to meet you, right? What should be the response to this question? That also needs to be documented. So the response to these questions can be any one of them. Hi, welcome to world's largest pirate organization. Hey, do you need any help? Welcome aboard. How may I help you? Hi, random person. What do you want? Hello, my friend. How can I help you? Hi, glad you showed up. How are you? How many of you have followed this? That this is the intent, that is greeting, right? This is the intent of the conversation. This is the input in this intent. If anyone is greeting, they may come up with these inputs, and this should be our chatbot's response. So these three things we need to create a dictionary of. Okay. Now this code I'm running on something known as Google Colab. Okay, I'm running on Google Colab. I'll explain you one more. For example, you need to create a tag goodbye. Now in goodbye, what will be the possible inputs? Thank you, thanks for the info, bye, adios, okay, bye, goodbye, see you later, I will catch you later, etc. What should be a response to it? Okay, bye, have a nice day, adios, goodbye. We may have these kind of conversation here. Okay. Then we have how am I? So that after greeting, you may generally ask, how are you? I am fine. How are you? Are you fine? How are things going on? Everything going on okay? What kind of response you need to give? So basically, if you see, there are various tags, input and response which has been created. Now this is the main thing on which we will train our model. Okay. So for training our model, let me open my OneNote. Okay, so this is what we call data preparation. Okay, so in data preparation, what you need to do? You need to form your data in this way, the tag, right? In this tag, what input can come and what will be the response from the chatbot, right? So we need to create as many data as possible. Where are you? Tag join, how to get recruited, how to join, how do I get recruited? These are the some questions which the one who want to join the job may come and inquire about. Where is the straw hat center? Where is your company located? What is the location? Prerequisite, what are the jobs requirement? What are the prerequisites? I hope all of you are getting the intent now, that we are creating various tags and then we are writing responses to it and input to it. Okay. Now, once this is created, we need to import this data set. So this data set is in the form of a JSON file. We will import that data set. Okay. Here, if you see, this is our data set. What I have done now is all the input I have now given a classified into different tags. Okay, so if you see all the possible inputs, okay, what I have done, I have put that all the possible inputs for a given tag in this format, tabular format or data from inputs, whatever input is there and the tag associated with it. Okay, great. Now what I'm going to do is every input has been given a tag. Okay, every input has been given a tag. Now we need to remove all the, when we are going to train a model. Okay, now what we are going to train, we are going to train a neural network model or a deep learning model, okay, with this data set, okay. Now before feeding the data, into a, before feeding data into a model for training, what we need to do is we need to pre-process the data. Okay, so pre-process the data means what? You need to remove the punctuations, because the machine or the algorithm doesn't understand punctuations and all. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. So if you see, I'm removing the punctuations. Okay, so for that I have written a lambda function which will remove all the punctuations from my inputs. Okay, you can see which country are you from, there was a question mark there, I have removed that. Okay, now when we train any data or when we train any text, what we need to do is we need to tokenize that text. Okay, all of you, what is the keyword here? Tokenize. Okay, another keyword I'm using here, tokenizing. Okay, now once you tokenize, so what I have done, suppose what is your age, suppose I ask this. Okay, so the machine, we cannot put one sentence inside it. Okay, instead of that, what we will do, we will tokenize each word. What is your age? Okay, now machine doesn't understand text, it only understands numbers. So what we need to do is we need to, after tokenization, we need to do encoding of each of the text, encoding the text. Okay, so this is what we need to do here. This is what exactly I'm doing. So what I'm doing, first I'm tokenizing the data. After tokenizing the data, I'm encoding the output. So I'm encoding the output so that I understand what input to what output we are getting. Okay, so this is our input data and we have now encoded our output data. With this, we are feeding that in data into a model. You can check here, model. Now what is this model? If you see, there is a X to it. So this is what you have to learn. Okay, if you want to become a deep learning expert, you need to understand how to create models. Okay, this is why you will be paid for. So what will be you paid for? You will be paid for how to create models, which architecture to use for models, etc. Now there are different architectures already available, like you may have RNN, okay, you may have CNN. So in your deep learning course, you will be taught everything. You may use LSTM, you may use transformers. Okay, so different architectures are available. In this case, what I'm doing, I'm using a LSTM network. So there may be question, why you're using LSTM, why not RNN, why CNN? So every architecture have their pros and cons. Okay, so we may have to go in depth to understand why LSTM is being used here. Okay, so once you define your model, with this 6 lines of code, you train your model. Now if you see, the training is done with the input, that is X train, and the Y train. So basically I'm telling the model that whatever input the user is adding, let me use a pen here, whatever input, right, the user has added into your chatbot, right, your first task, the task of the model backend is to identify which tag or input it belongs to, which tag or maybe sentiment it belongs to. So suppose a user has asked, how are you? So which tag does it belong to? If you see the data set, it belongs to the greeting one, right? So if you come back, so here, how are you? So it belongs to hi, how am I tag. Now once the machine understands, okay, he or she has put how are you, the user has put how are you, the tag to it is how am I, what it will do is it will reply back with one of these answers, right? It's quite simple, that you need to just train your machine with the input and tag, so later it can identify, okay, for this given input this is the tag and this is the response I need to give. Okay, great. Now let's go back to the code again. So once you train your model with this data, right, the input and tag, you can see you need to learn a lot of things here. How to train the model, right? While training the model, what is epoch, what is loss here, what is accuracy, right? How many epochs you should make, how many batch size you should keep, all these, what is the sparse categorical and cross entropy. So what is the optimizer, what is the metric? I hope all of you are getting the feel of it, that when you do model training, you need to understand each and every context of the model. Okay, so that exactly will be taught in this particular course. Okay, so once your model is trained, this is how your model was training. It is showing with 200 epoch how your training loss is decreasing, how your accuracy is increasing. So if you see, after 100 iterations, there is not much increase in the accuracy, right? So it means that we can end our training there. Now once we have trained our model, we can now test the model. Okay, so for testing of the model, what I'm doing, I am writing hi. Okay, I have not run all the code before this. This was run before now. Let me just run this. So now what will happen is, now we have created this code which will do what? It will start taking it user input and it will answer back with a response. So the name of the chatbot I've kept is Going Merry. Okay, what is the name of the chatbot? Going Merry. So Going Merry is the chatbot which we have created. We put a hi, it answers back with, hey, glad you showed up, how are you? Now you may understand that this is not magic which is happening. It is just that the chatbot or the model has understood when anyone puts hi, right, the tag is greetings, and for greetings I need to reply back with this response. So the response was fin. If you see, the response was not even correct grammatically, but our model could understand if someone is writing fin, it is most closest to, you know, some tag, and it will answer back with that response, that is, we will meet soon. Okay, so this is how basically a chatbot is created. I know a lot of things here may not be correctly known right now. If you see, I've started training the model again. It has got trained. Let me check. Let me rerun this. Perfect. So it has got trained now. Let me show you. So I'm now showing a live demo. All of you were asking how do you use. So basically now I'm showing you a live demo. Suppose I write, anyone, if you want to write anything to the model, suppose I write, how are you? Okay. I'm writing, how are you? See, Going Merry has replied with things are great. Why? Because it has understood this question needs to be responded in this particular way. Again, I write, how are you? It may reply back with a different answer. Yeah, fine, nothing much going in my life. Why it has replied this way? Because we have kept this as the response, right? So it has understood that how are you belongs to the tag how am I, and it can answer with any one of these responses. Okay, how are you, again if I write, it may repeat. It has now started giving different, it may repeat after some time. Okay, if I just reply hi, it is saying, hey you, do you need help? Suppose I write yes, so it's asking me, hello friend, how can I help you? So suppose we ask some other question now. Let's ask, what are the jobs requirement, right? What are the jobs requirement? Let's ask this question. So suppose I write here, how are the job requirement? You can check that you gotta master the art of sword fight or master cooking and become a furious cooker. So anything. So if you wanted some technology stack to be given, you could have just written that in the response here. Okay. Similarly, if I may write, where is location of, where can I find the straw hat center? Where can I find? So let us write, where can I find location of your office? Suppose I ask this. Let's ask randomly location. So if you see, I just write location, it is not able to answer anything. It is just asking, how can I help you? Right? Location of your office. Things are great. So it is not able to correctly identify which tag this belongs to. It means what? It requires more training. Okay. Who are you? Suppose I ask this question. Who are you? Right? I am the great pirate bot. You can call me Going Merry. So now I can again ask, how are you? So the chat is not, it's not programmed to understand what happened before this question. Okay. Perfect. So I hope all of you have got the feel of how chatbots are created. Great. Thank you, all of you. Take care of yourself. Thank you.